Magandang araw, grade 9. Ang topic natin ngayon ay tungkol sa modeling, representing, and transforming quadratic functions. So, ang objective po natin sa unang-una, models real-life situations using quadratic functions. Represent a quadratic function using a table of values, a graph, and equation. And then, ang pangatlo, transform the quadratic function defined by y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c into form of y is equal to a times the square of x minus h plus k, or ito yung tinatawag na vertex form. And after the discussion, students could appreciate the application of quadratic function in real-life situations. So, ano nga ba ang quadratic functions? So, the concept of quadratic function is very useful in our life if you know further about it. So, hindi lang po natin siguro napapansin or hindi lang natin na-realize na akala natin ang math is just about computing, or it's just about x and y or numbers, pero ang quadratic function ay nagagamit din pala sa totoong buhay. Especially if you are going to solve different problems na involving situations such as building structures, so kagaya ng mga engineers and architects. And then, computing the maximum height or the minimum point of an object that may reach. So, siguro ito ay mas best para sa mga scientists na kung saan they are doing experiments. And then, analyzing the movement of an object. So, siguro ito naman ay para sa mga volcanologists, especially kapag nagkakaroon ng earthquake. Kasi sila yung mga may capacity or yung mga tao na may application na kung saan right after the earthquake, so sila po yung nag-a-analyze or sila yung kumukuha ng data kung gaano nga ba kalakas ang movement ng mga bagay dahil sa paglindol. So, ayun. So, all of those were application of quadratic function. So, paano nga ba yon nangyayari? So, here are some examples of situations that models quadratic functions in real-life situations. So, magpapakita ako ng iba't ibang example na kung saan may ginagamit ang quadratic function. So, una, if you are going to target an object in upward direction. So, kagaya po ng paglalaro ng dart. So, kapag tayo ay naglaro ng dart or doon sa mga experts, so para matamaan yung center ng dart, syempre, hahawakan mo ng mabuti yung dart and kailangan mong i-aim or you are going to get the perfect angle para ma-hit yung pinaka bullseye. Yan. Next application is when you are throwing an object downward. So, kapag tayo ay naghahagis ng isang bagay mula sa itaas. So, halimbawa, ayan, nagtatapon ka ng kunwari ay papel or kung ano man na gusto nating itapon. So, yung motion ng object papunta sa baba, so there, hindi lang natin napapansin, so there is a path na sinusundan yung motion ng bagay. Or, kunwari tayo ay nasa mataas na bahagi ng building or kung sa puno, and then meron tayong ihahagis na bagay. So, ayan. Kung titingnan natin, merong motion din na sinusundan kung paano nahuhulog yung ating inihagis. So, depende kung gaano kalakas yung paghagis. So, ganun din yung layo nung object na inihagis pababa. And then, third one is shooting ball vertically upward. So, ito naman ay best application ng mga basketball players. So, kung makikita natin or we are just going to think how basketball players do their best shots. So, alam naman natin na kaya sila magagaling. Siyempre, nagpa-practice sila. Nakukuha na nila ang tamang timing, technique, kung paano ba nila isushoot yung bola. Or, ayan. So, paano ba nangyayari yung free throw na walang mintis or shoot. O shoot na shoot yung bola na hindi siya lumalagpas sa ring. So, ayan. So, that is another application of quadratic function. So, may tamang anggulo silang sinusunod para ma-shoot ang bola sa ring. And then, for example, so minimum point that a submarine to submerge. So, alam naman natin kung ano ang submarine, di ba? So, ito yung isang sasakyang pandagat na dumadaan sa ilalim ng tubig. So, depende kung ano ang purpose niya, for exploration or kung yung submarine ba na yan is for military. Ayan. And then, kung mapapansin natin ang submarine, ang motion din niya is hindi siya totally straight. So, medyo nagkakaroon siya ng wavy movement dahil siguro sa current ng tubig. Or, ayan. So, hindi siya totally straight tumakbo. So, that is also an application of quadratic function. And last is, when the NASA is launching a rocket to its maximum point. So, paano nga ba lumilipad ang rocket or kailan ba siya lilipad? So, syempre, meron siyang maximum point. Gaano siya kalakas, kung gaano na siguro kainit yung nasa ilalim niya bago siya lumipad. So, ito po yung sample kung saan ang rocket ay nasa state of launching. Yun. Kung makikita natin, ayan, nag-aapoy yung ilalim niya. So, maybe that is the maximum point na tinutukoy. And then, ito, kapag siya ay nasa labas na. So, magbibigay ako ng mga examples. So, ito po. First example natin is if function of x or y is equal to the function of x, which is x squared plus 6x plus 8. So, ito ba ay quadratic function or not? So, syempre, ito po ay quadratic function dahil ang highest degree niya is 2. And all numerical coefficients are real numbers. Next. Y is equal to 7x plus 12. So, ito naman po ay example ng not quadratic function dahil ang highest degree lang niya ay 1. Third example, x minus 2 times x plus 3 times x squared. So, ito ba ay quadratic or not? So, alam naman natin na ang x minus 2 and x plus 3 can be simplified by using FOIL method. So, ang magiging highest exponent nito ay 4. Kasi x squared times x squared is x raised to 4. So, since ang highest degree is 4, so then this is not an example of quadratic function. And then, fourth one, example po ng graph and a table. So, paano ba nangyayari ito? So, kung titingnan natin, may values po ang x and values of y. So, ipapakita ko lang kung paano na ba nakuha yung values of y, which is 3. So, unang gagawin is rewrite the equation, which is the function of x is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 8. And then, substitute the values in terms of x. So, ang value ng x natin, first value is negative 5. Since the equation is x squared, ibig sabihin, you are going to square negative 5. So, negative 5 raised to 2 plus, according to, so 6 times the value of x uli, ay 6 times negative 5 plus 8. And simplify. So, negative 5 squares. Ibig sabihin, imumultiply sa sarili ng dalawang beses ang negative 5. So, negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Positive 6 times negative 5 is negative 30 plus 8. And then, sa parte na ito, ang gagawin natin is combine like terms. So, ang common terms po dito is positive 25 and positive 8. So, 25 plus 8 is 33 minus 30. So, ang function of x or the value of y is positive 3. Ayun, kaya po naging ganon. When x is negative 5, so ang value po ng y is 3. And kung itatry din po natin i-substitute si negative 4 sa x, so ang value ng y is 0. And since meron na po tayong values ni x na negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, up to negative 1, and with values of y also. So, kung itatry natin siyang i-graph, kung maalala nyo last year, so sa graphing, since the topic is linear function, so kapag i-graph po natin and connect those points, ang mabubuhay is straight line. Since ngayon naman is it's about quadratic, so kapag i-connect naman po natin lahat ng points, ang graph natin ay ganyan. So, para siyang merong opening. So, ang tawag po dyan is parabola. Yan. So, the graph of a quadratic function is a parabola. So, wag nyo yung kalilimutan. And it has different properties, including the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the opening of the parabola, and the intercepts. So, para mas maintindihan, so ito po yung illustrations niya. So, ayan po yung opening ng parabola. So, ang ating parabola ay nakadepende. Kapag, kung ang parabola ba ay opening ay upward or yung direction is upward or downward. So, meron din pong parabola na facing to the right side and left side. And then, the axis of the symmetry, yung nasa gitna. The intercepts, kung saan the points touches the axis or is either the y or x axis, and the vertex, yan yung pinaka ilalim na parte ng parabola or the lowest part. Depende kung ang opening nga ay pa upward or downward. So, kung pabaliktad siya, edi dun sa pinakatuktok yung vertex. And if x is squared, the parabola is vertical, opens up or down. So, yun na. Kapag ang values ni x ang na-square, so, ina-expect natin na ang parabola is either the opening is upward or downward. Pero kapag ang y naman ang naka-square, it will be horizontal. So, pwedeng papunta sa left or right side. So, kapag pa right side, edi positive. So, ayan. Itong nasa unang taas natin na dalawa, ang naka-square dyan is y. Kapag papaharap sa kanan, edi positive. Kapag paharap sa kaliwa is negative. And then, ditong nasa ilalim naman, it will happen if the values of x is squared. So, ang parabola po yung opening is upward or downward. Kapag upward, yan po ay positive. Kapag pababa or pabaliktad, so downward. So, yan po ang difference ng graph. Next, a quadratic function is a second degree polynomial. Ayan, represented by ax squared plus bx plus c. Wherein, always remember, para malaman natin na siya ay quadratic function, always see to it that the highest degree is 2. And the graph of a quadratic function, ang tawag po ay parabola. Ito. So, paano nga ba ita-transform ang quadratic function into vertex form? So, ito po yung una example natin. So, huwag kalilimutan, ang vertex form is y is equal to a x minus h square plus k. So, ayun yung format. So, i-write lang po natin ang equation. And then, first step, i-group natin yung terms containing x. Since the equation is x squared minus 6x minus x, So, igugrupo natin ang x square minus 6x. Ihiwalay natin siya. And then, next step. So, bakit naging plus 9 minus 9? So, ito po yun. Ang tawag po sa method na yan is completing the square. So, paano ba nangyayari yan? So, etong linear term, which is negative 6x, ay i-divide kay 2. I-divide nyo yan kay 2. Ayan. I-divide kay 2 and then square it. So, sa linear term yan ha. Papakita lang natin bakit naging plus 9. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And square it. Ayan. Palaging ang linear term ay i-divide kay 2. And then, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So, ayan. And that positive 9 will be added at the left side and subtracted to the left side. So, ayun. So, ang tawag po dito is completing the square. So, ang gagawin kapag completing the square, i-divide sa 2 ang linear term. And square it. Pag nakuha na po natin ang square niya, i-add nyo po sa sa left side, siya din yung ima-minus sa right side. So, ganun lang kasimple. So, ang atin na pong equation is y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 15. Pero, kailangan nating i-factor ang ating trinomial. So, pinaka-technique, ang last term is the product of the factors and the middle term is the sum of your factors. So, mag-iisip kayo ngayon, ano nga ba ang dalawang number na kapag pinag-multiply is positive 9? Pero, kapag i-add, it is negative 6. So, obviously, kapag nag-multiply tayo na positive ang results, it is negative or positive. Yun nga lang, kapag nag-add tayo na negative ang gitna, so therefore, negative yung factors. So, ang pinakamalapit na factor nito is negative 3 and negative 3. Since the factors were x minus 3, x minus 3 times x minus 3, pareho lang, dalawang x minus 3. So, pwede na po natin siyang express as x minus 3 raised to 2 para masundan natin yung, itong vertex form na, ayan. Ayan. Kaya siya naging ganon dahil x minus 3 times x minus 3. So, dalawa siya. So, pareho lang siya dito. Na pag-iisahin na lang siya. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin ng square. So, dalawang ito yan. Okay? So, ganun lang po ang gagawin. Bakit siya naging x minus 3 raised to 2. And, negative 6 minus 9 is negative 15. So, therefore, this is already the vertex form kasi yan na yung pattern ng a times x minus h square plus k. So, ang a natin is itong nandito sa gilid ni x. So, lahat ng invisible, that is, ito yon 1. Then, x minus h. So, ito na yung x minus 3. So, square, ito yon. And then, ito naman ang k natin. So, that is the vertex form. So, ganun lang ka simple. Okay? And, don't forget, quadratic function defined by ax squared plus bx plus c can be transformed into, ayan. So, that pattern is called vertex form. And, yung ginawa natin kanina na, ang linear term ay i-divide sa 2 and square. So, that is completing the square method. So, isa-summarize lang natin yung steps. So, ang gagawin nyo is group the terms na may x. So, paghihiwalay natin yung may x. So, si quadratic term and linear term ay magkasama. And then, if a factor. So, ayan po ang third step. So, completing the square and simplify and express the perfect square trinomial as a square of binomial. So, yun lang po. Sana ay naintindihan. Thank you very much.